Hi guys, today I just want to talk about the best settings for your camera to get that cinematic look. But first of all, let's have a cup of tea. Now I've got my cup of tea. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at the best settings for your camera to get that cinematic look. So these include your frame rate, shutter speed, aperture, ISO, ND filters, and picture profiles. First of all, let's look at frame rate. Now this is the first setting I check when setting up my camera. So for that cinematic look, we need to use 24 frames per second. In cinema, we still want that little bit of motion blur. So we use the 180-degree rule, which is whatever your frame rate, you double it. So if you're shooting 24 frames per second, your shutter speed needs to be 48. But some cameras might not have 48, they might have 50, but just get as close as possible to doubling your frame rate. And that happens, and the same goes for when you're filming in slow motion. So if I'm filming on my Canon C200 there at 120 frames per second, I'm going to be using 240 shutter speed, but in this case that camera doesn't have it, so I get as close as I can, which I use 250. So you've probably heard of f-stop or aperture, and this is all to do with the amount of light coming into your camera. So if you want that nice blurry background, you need a lower number possible on your f-stop. So the lens I'm using now, the lowest it would be is 2.8, but on my Canon C60 Mark II there, that lens is f-stop 4. So, and you've probably seen a price difference between same focal lengths, but the f-stop may be lower. You know, you could be looking at £1,000 difference just because of that lower f-stop. We don't want to use the aperture to change the amount of exposure coming into the shot, especially if it's too light. To do this, the best option is to use an ND filter or your ISO. So this leads me nicely to the ISO. We want this number as low as possible. Otherwise, your picture can become very grainy. Now, when you're filming in low light conditions, especially at weddings, you know, into the evening, you may have to boost up your ISO. But you know, just try and get it perfect where it's not going to be too grainy, but then you still want to see what's going on. you must use ND filters. Now, basically, if you're wondering what an ND filter is a pair of sunglasses for your camera. Some more expensive cameras, like the one I'm filming on here, the Canon C200, they have ND filters built in. But for a lot of the DSLRs, they don't. But you can just buy ND filters that just clip straight on the front of your lens. And I actually have a couple of variable ND filters. You pay a little bit more, but you don't have to have a whole collection of them. And I'll put the link in the description below. Last of all, I like to film using a flat profile. Now I'll use I film on the Canon C-Log3 like this, and then I will color grade it. And then the best thing about this is you can color grade it to whatever you want, and especially in weddings, if you've got that certain feel that you're going for, you can apply that on the whole footage. So to sum up, your frame rate should be 24 frames per second, your shutter speed should be double that, your aperture should be as low as possible, your ISO should be as low as possible, use ND filters if it's really sunny, and shoot in a flat profile. Thank you for watching, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.